Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust meeting for November 23rd. If anyone would like to speak on an item, please fill out a request to be heard form and give it to a staff member. And I will go ahead and call this meeting to order. Item 2 on the agenda is the minutes from the October 26th trust meeting. If there's no questions, I'd go ahead and entertain a motion. It's not working on mine. How come they're all marked as absent?
It's waiting on their vote.
Well, we haven't got the.
It won't even let us, it won't let them do it.
Yeah.
Won't let us do it.
All right, we're going to go ahead and do it verbally. Do I have a motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
See if it'll, okay, we'll just voice vote. All right. Chairman Stone,
Aye.
Trustee Hooper,
Aye.
Trustee Roth,
Aye.
Trustee Stonecipher,
Yes, please.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Is that it?
Yep.
And the motion passes. Item 3 is the ratification of claims. Do we have a motion on claims?
So moved.
Okay. Chairman Stone.
Aye.
Trustee Hooper,
Aye.
Trustee Roth,
Aye.
Trustee Stonecipher,
Yes, please.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
And that item passes as well. Brings us to item 4 on the agenda, items for individual consideration. Under item 4A is a memorandum of agreement with the Oklahoma County to provide $5 million in tax increment finance assistance for the Oklahoma County Capital Project for the Investors Capitol Building and their county annex building. Kathy?
This is an agreement with Oklahoma County to provide certain improvements to county buildings. The Downtown Maps Review Committee approved the allocation of $5 million in July, and the City Council approved it in October. So this is the agreement that helps to implement those projects. It includes exterior upgrade to the Investor Capitol Building, new county annex building elevators, the county annex building security project, and county annex building front entrance improvements. And Butch Freeman, the county treasurer, is here. Would you like to add anything, Butch? Butch is here for questions.
Do we have any questions?
Just want to tell Treasurer Freeman, thanks for being here today.
Having some familiarity with the need, I would move the item for approval.
Second.
We have a first and a second?
Okay. Chairman Stone.
Aye.
Trustee Hooper,
Aye.
Trustee Roth,
Aye.
Trustee Stonecipher, Trustee Campos.
Aye.
And the item passes. Brings us to item 4B on the agenda. This is a memorandum of agreement with the City of Oklahoma City for $87,070 in ancillary infrastructure funding for alley projects south of 615 North Hudson, north of 1101 North Broadway, and south of 1016 North Walker. Kathy?
The funding for this project was approved by council in August. So this is just an agreement between the trust and the city to implement the improvements. And on some of them, the city will be paying half from other sources, and the TIF will pay for half.
Any questions?
That explains it. It seemed rather affordable, quite honestly, for those 3 locations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would move the item for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second.
Chairman Stone,
Aye.
Trustee Hooper,
Aye.
Trustee Roth,
Aye.
Trustee Stonecipher,
Yes.
Trustee Campos.
Aye.
All right, the item passes. Next on the agenda, 4C, is a memorandum of understanding regarding pre-opening preservation costs for the First Americans Museum with the Native American Cultural and Educational Authority. Wiley?
I'll try to keep this simple, but the
There you go.
city entered into an agreement based on some legislation passed by the Oklahoma legislature in 2015 that, in a nutshell, the city agreed to operate the First Americans Museum in exchange for the state putting in more bond money to finish it out. And the city agreed to put in $9 million of its own money. And as part of that arrangement, we entered into agreements to operate the museum with a foundation that was formed. But the building is still owned by the Native American Cultural and Education Authority, which is a state agency. And that agency has some money available through OMES that's being used to finish out some of the construction items that need to be punch list. And if there's any of that money left over, up to $420,000, we will file a claim for certain expenses that have been incurred in operating the museum, such as gas and water and electric costs, and security, and some custodial services. And so we'll hope to get reimbursed for those that have been expended in operating the museum. And this is a memorandum with the Native American Cultural Center, the state agency, that allows us to do that.
Excellent. An item with money coming in versus out. I like that. If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Do you have a question?
Okay.
What's the timing on the reimbursement?
It has to be within this budget year, so
Okay, before
For June.
July. Okay. Thank you. Would like to move.
Second.
Go ahead.
Trustee Hooper,
Aye.
Trustee Roth,
Aye.
Trustee Stonecipher,
Yes, please.
Trustee Campos,
Aye.
Chairman Stone.
Aye. And the item passes. Next on the agenda is item 4D. This is a economic development agreement with Boulevard Place with a 265-unit apartment complex with retail space not to exceed $7,243,571. Kathy?
This is the economic development agreement for the Boulevard Place project that's located immediately east of the Omni Hotel. It's a 265-unit apartment project. The agreement is for the $7,243,000. Some of that is to reimburse the developer for environmental costs associated with the construction, $1.5 million, and we will reimburse him up to that amount for those types of costs. The remainder will be a rebate of his property taxes over, a 20-year period or 15-year period. Can't remember. 10? Okay, better than I thought. 70% rebate of ad valorem taxes for up to 10 years. So we anticipate that construction will start early in 2022, and I'll be glad to try to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No question other than to say the trust staff provided some additional information. I very much appreciated receiving that, reviewing it again, and reminding myself I'm grateful for the mix of occupancy that's intended for that space. It's nice to see a project of that nature to be so inclusive, and appreciate the detail, and I would move the item for approval.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Trustee Hooper.
Aye.
Trustee Roth. Trustee Stonecipher. Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Chairman Stone.
Aye. Item passes, brings us to item 4E, the Alliance for Economic Development of Oklahoma City Fiscal Year 22, First Quarter Report.
In your packet is the President's report for the Alliance for Economic Development and the financial report for the first quarter of this fiscal year. Just to hit a few of the high notes, we've really kind of wrapped up all the work that we were doing on the small business support programs that were funded through the CARES Act, both for Oklahoma County and for the city. We are now working with the city on implementing some small business programs and minority-owned business programs through the ARPA funding. So the city council allocated $37 million for small business support and affordable housing, so we'll be working with the city to implement those programs. The Homeland Grocery Store opened in September. It's been a huge success and very well received in the community, and if you haven't been to shop there, you need to go because it's really pretty special. So we're just wrapping up that project. We have a few things left to do to complete the master development agreement that we have with the city that includes getting an appraisal for the parking lot improvements. On the job creation work that we do through the Oklahoma Industries Authority, we are continuing to work with Tinker Air Force Base and moving forward with the closure of Douglas Boulevard. It was introduced at City Council today and will go to the county commissioners as a next step. There's still a lot of work that's being done behind the scenes to implement the closure and to deal with it, and we continue to work with Tinker on new missions that will be assigned to the base. The other thing that we've been working on, and Keith Coleman from my staff is going to give a report here in a few minutes on, is the property that OCEDT provided funding for the exchange agreement for the 577 acres at I-240 in Eastern. And I'll let him give an update on that, but we are moving forward with that and have selected a master developer. We continue to do quite a bit of work in Northeast Oklahoma City, including restoration and community engagement about the Lions Mansion and Brockway Center. We're still developing a lot of single-family homes. And I think the other big project that we're very involved in is in the Innovation District, the project that's proposed by Robinson Park called Convergence. We're working on a memorandum of understanding between the city, the redevelopment authority, and the developer to see if that project can include Innovation Hall, which is a MAPS 4 project. The developer will be matching $10 million in MAPS money with $10 million of his own money to complete that facility and the related infrastructure. So we have a lot that we're in the middle of with that project. I think the rest are just, we have a lot of development projects going on and a lot of things still happening in Oklahoma City and hear about more and more every day. So I think that's about all I have.
Thank you, Kathy. Do we need a motion to receive?
Yes.
Can I get a motion to receive the report, please?
Second.
Okay. Trustee Hooper.
To coin Stonecipher's, yes, please.
Trustee Roth. Sure. Trustee Stonecipher. Aye. Trustee Campos.
Aye.
Chairman Stone.
Aye. All right. Next item on the agenda, item 5, is General Manager Reports.
The report is in your packet, the written report, and if there's any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
I thought we were getting a presentation.
We are. Oh, I was going to do it under comments from staff.
Okay. Thank you.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Item 6 on the agenda, comments from staff.
Keith Coleman from my team is here this afternoon to give you an update on our progress at I-240 in Eastern. Keith is a special projects director for the Alliance and gets to work on all kinds of interesting things. So.
It's interesting because I do whatever she tells me to do. So the last time I believe that we talked was we had an economic development agreement that we put together, which was back in April, and then we went ahead and moved forward with the exchange agreement with the CLO, the Commissioners of the Land Office. We closed on the property at the end of June for $12.3 million. We immediately got it prepared for an RFP. We sent that out to the development community. Our phone rang off the walls because everybody recognized what a significant property this was. It's very, very remarkable because of its locations, the opportunity zones, everything that it brings into focus for a good economic development site. So we sent out the RFP. We closed it at the end of September. We received 7 responses. We then put together a team to grade those responses. It was myself, Lena Dozier from our staff, and also Jeff Butler from the Oklahoma City Planning Staff Director. Of those 7 responses, we had 4 national responses. We also had 3 really good, strong groups from local Oklahoma City people. The good news is that we interviewed 6 of those groups just to, again, flesh those out after we had ranked them initially. And like I said, the good news is that I think you could have honestly picked any one of the 6 and you wouldn't have missed it by far. They were all that good. Some of the national responses, they were tremendous, and they brought a lot to the table. But it also says something about the group that we finally did select, and that was the group's called OKC 577, but 577 acres, got to have a ring to the whole thing. But the news is that it was Mark Bedford, Dick Tannenbaum, and Brett Price as the principals of that group. As you know, they bring a lot of experience in Oklahoma City to the table. The thing that they did above and beyond, and again, it was by degrees with all of these responses that we got, but the thing that they did above and beyond, they proved to us that they wanted to do manufacturing out there. One of the groups, for example, like one of them from Atlanta, they wanted to do like 100% distribution warehousing out there. And again, that's fine for kind of jobs, but that's not what this was about. This is a wonderful tract of land for manufacturing. Mark and Dick were able to show us graphically that manufacturing really is the way to go for Oklahoma City for this tract of land. And they will have some distribution out there. There's no doubt about that. It has to go hand in glove. But they're also going to have some office and some other commercial uses that will tie it into a really good industrial park. So right now, what we're working on is a development agreement along with what we will use to let them hold the property as the master developer, a long-term ground lease. As they get prospects in, they will take down a certain number of acres, and when I say take down, they will purchase that at fair market value by appraisal. It has to be approved by this board, and for that particular use. We don't want to, it's not going to be a cumbersome process or anything along those lines, but it has to be something that everybody's in agreement of how this thing's going to move forward. Again, we're in the middle of that right now. Everything's looking very, very positive with that. We're hoping to have the final negotiations and that agreement ready by the first week in December for approval. And with that, be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments from staff? Any comments from trustees? Has anyone signed up to speak? With that, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And that brings us to item 7. We are adjourned.